You can skip lunch if you're on your own, but your baby can't skip lunch, right?
He had to prepare 50K before even deciding to have a baby.
How much have you figured out it's going to cost you a month?
I'm assuming it's going to cost me like maybe around like 1,000 ringgit.
1,000 ringgit. It's either you have a really high income or your daily spending is very low. You don't have to answer which one. It has to be one of them. What's up, guys? I'm Emir and this is the Money Goal podcast. So today I'm with Thinesh. Thinesh, I heard you are getting a baby soon. So what do you want to know?
Well, having a baby is a good thing. So it's a happy thing for everyone. But when it comes to finance, it puts you in a very gray zone where you don't know what's going to happen. Because, at this stage of life, you just spend every money that you have. You haven't even started thinking about financial planning, investments and stuff. Yep. And suddenly you have a responsibility.
Exactly.
That you can't skip.
Yeah, I think being irresponsible with your money when you only have to pay for your own things is fine, right? But once you have a baby, suddenly someone's responsible. Like, you're responsible for...
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I'm alone, you can run out of money and then you can make a call like, Mom, need money, Mom. But right now, when you have a kid...
Exactly. You can skip lunch if you're on your own, but your baby can't skip lunch, right?
Definitely.
You have to be responsible.
The choices can't be made because the baby needs the nutrients and then it needs that particular formula or like that particular meal. But you could just skip and go for instant noodles.
Exactly. So is this baby something that you had planned? Were you ready for it? Or is it something that just happened?
I wouldn't say we planned for it, but of course we expected to have a baby at some point in life, but we just didn't expect it to be this soon.
To be now, right?
I guess most guys would not think about to have a baby at that moment, but when it happens, it happens.
Yeah, exactly. How old are you, by the way?
I'm in my 30s.
Oh, yeah, 30s. Okay. So I think before we even get into the baby part, aside from the baby, how are you guys doing financially?
I would say we are doing good and comfortable. If it's just two of us, I think we're very comfortable.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
You're fine with your expenses, no big debt, nothing like that, right?
We made that choice very cautiously. Like, we decided to keep our debts low so that we are financially free from
Smart. You're a smart guy.
So we didn't buy those luxury things like cars or big houses.
Yep.
There are plans. Of course, we want to live the high life, but with the current level,
those plans are cancelled with the baby.
maybe I would say a little delayed.
Delayed. Okay.
Yeah, but we made that cautious choice of not getting stuck in the debt.
I think that's good. That's smart. Even though you didn't expect to have a baby, at least you're in a good financial situation, decent financial situation, right? You know how when you go onto airplanes and stuff, and then they're like, oh, if the emergency mask comes on, make sure you put it on yourself first before you put it on for anyone you're responsible for.
Yeah.
At least your financial mask is, you guys are good, right?
Yeah. Well, at least we're breathing.
Okay. So when it comes to babies, okay, I'm going to be honest, I don't have a lot of experience in this. So I have cats, but I heard that babies are a bit more expensive than cats. So I guess pre-delivery is something that you have to prepare for, right? Or leading up to your wife giving birth.
Oh yeah, I think the moment that we found out that we were pregnant, we were expecting to bring in a life to this world. I started thinking about finance.
For sure.
Okay, so how much am I gonna spend on this? How much money I should have before the delivery happens, and what are things I need to buy. So I've been talking around with the pros, the old timers, the new ones, and then I had this friend, I would say a really good friend that said that he had to prepare 50K before even deciding to have a baby.
And this was just for his wife to give birth, or was it
just
for the first year?
Just till she gave birth. Yeah, and I freaked out. I was like, bro, are you talking about raising the whole kid or just delivery? And I was like, just delivery. And then he was like, you need to get a really good hospital, you need to get a really good room for the delivery, and then the checkups, the confinement, you need to send her to this place where they really take care of the mom and the baby. And I was like, I can't afford this baby right now.
I'm sure a lot of people feel like that.
And then that's when I had a chat with a really good friend that works with me.
Okay.
He gave me the reality of it. That's options. That's
exactly. I was just gonna say, surely there are ranges. Surely not everyone has to pay 50K for a baby, right?
Oh no, definitely not. It's way cheaper. Yeah. And then we started exploring good options government hospitals are really good.
Exactly.
You could do your checkups at KK. They're really nice. They're really good. They're very on the level of a private hospital. And then when it comes to delivery, there are options of semi-governments. Like
Exactly. I was going to say UM, right? UM is a semi-government that's not as expensive as private.
yes, we're actually planning to deliver in UM.
Oh.
We love the facility there, so
Okay.
we decided. Then there are other options as well, like hospitals that are tied up with universities.
Yep.
Like those kind of hospitals really give good treatment.
Without the extremely high price tag, right?
Yes,
Okay.
somewhere that we could save up and afford.
Okay, yeah. I think that's what is more realistic. I think some people who maybe don't have kids, the first time they listen to this podcast, like 50K, they're not going to have kids. So obviously there are ranges to it, right?
Oh yeah,
So-
so there are also options where you don't really
Spend that much at all.
spend much at all. You
Yeah.
just- I mean, government hospitals are really good,
Yeah.
and you just have to pre-book a hospital nearby your home, which would probably be like a few bucks only.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the
that's
good
the-
thing about Malaysian healthcare.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine that recently had a baby just paid like ringgit.
#5
Yeah.
for a baby.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
So
crazy.
I'm not sure about the room charges, but
Okay.
that's what he said. He just paid
That's
ringgit.
super cheap. Okay. So let's go in between. I assume you're the person who is in between the #5 and the 10,000 ringgit to the 50K. Like
I would
you're in
lean-
between. You're in
I would lean closer to the ringgit.
okay. So I'm sure you've done your research, right? You figured out what kind of costs you need to pay. This is before your wife even gives birth. So how much did that figure come up to?
Okay, so when I did my research as
Okay.
such for right, so we decided like okay, let's not go too high.
Yep.
So in case of our emergency, we probably need to have an emergency fund of like 10K.
Smart.
So in case of complication delivery or like we need to do a C-section,
Yep.
10K was roughly the average price.
Okay.
So we decided to do checkups in both government and
Private.
at UM.
Okay.
So UM checkups not that expensive,
Okay.
and the scans are really reasonable. Maybe like a quarter of what you would pay at a private hospital.
Okay. Yep.
So that's that. So maybe I think you should probably have an emergency fund of maybe like 10K
10K to be ready.
to be ready.
Okay.
And like maybe monthly, you probably need to spend around like 300 to 400 for checkups and stuff. Maybe another.
This before giving birth even, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you factor in the nutritious food, or like if like the person is taking supplements,
Yep.
maybe another 100 ringgit.
Okay,
So
a
maybe
month.
400 to 500 ringgit a month, and then 10K towards the delivery. And maybe if you factor in the expenses of like preparing for the baby, the clothes,
Yep.
the baby cot, or
Yeah.
diapers and everything, maybe that would come up to another 5 to 10K.
That's like the bills keep stacking up, man.
Well, yeah, it does. But again, it all comes to choices.
Yeah.
There are always cheaper choices that you make.
Yep.
And I think as a first-time parent, I would say I'm all cautious towards the brands that I choose.
Yep.
Since we don't have experience, we choose the best. We assume that we're choosing the best. But again, the good friend at work said the most expensive is not the best brand. Every baby is built different, and we just have to give a trial and error process goes on.
Honestly, if I had a kid, I feel like I would just buy the most expensive things. Like, only the best for my kid, but obviously that's not the smart choice, right?
Yeah, but I think that's what all first-time parents do.
Exactly. Okay, but before we get into ways that we can save on some of these things, right? So you said when you had a kid, or when you just found out that you guys were pregnant, you weren't expecting it, right?
Yeah.
So how much do you think it was gonna be, and how did you react when you found out the real cost of things?
We got pregnant very recently after we got married.
Okay.
So we
Also, you had the wedding cost that you were just
Yeah.
covering financially from. Okay.
so that was going on.
Okay.
And when the initial reaction was of course I was happy. I was glad that
sure.
we were pregnant, but also I was a bit worried about the responsibilities comes with the package.
Yep.
Like, am I financially ready for this?
Yep. So what was your immediate reaction? Yes or no?
To the baby.
Yeah, financially, as in financially.
Financially, yes.
You felt it.
We did the math immediately. Like we said, okay, you make this much, I make this much, so we need to pay off this, and we make sure we don't add on anything.
Yep.
We should be fine.
Okay, that's good. At least you know you had all of those, and immediately you calculated your finances and stuff, and you guys knew that you could afford it, right? And so all these upfront costs that you had to prepare for, like, let's say you said 10K for delivery and stuff, did you have the cash ready, or was it something that you're saving up right now?
It is something that I'm saving up right now.
Okay, yeah.
Because, I mean, at this point of life where I am newly married,
Yep.
so we are also building a house. So that's expenses going on. We know I need to accommodate the needs of like the family.
Yeah.
So usually whenever I save up, it goes there.
Okay.
And then we start off again and again. But yeah, we do have a bit of savings kept aside for
Okay.
emergency funds. But yeah, we're building towards the end goal of like, okay, this is a comfortable month we want to
Okay.
have before the baby comes.
Honestly, it sounds like, you just got married, you found out you have a kid, you're building a house. It's either you have a really high income or your daily spending is very low. You don't have to answer which one. It has to be one of
I
those.
mean, I would love to say it's the first option,
Okay.
but actually I would say neither, because the daily expenses is still, I think post-COVID is really expensive.
Yep.
The same things that I enjoyed during uni is way, way expensive right now.
Yep.
Economical rice is so expensive right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Nasi bujang is expensive, guys.
It is. Even chap fan and everything, right?
Yeah.
You think it's cheap.
Yeah.
You take a bit and it's like 15, 20 ringgit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But okay. So back to it. So I guess in preparation for your wife giving birth, it seems like you got everything under control. 9 months you have, which I guess is not an extremely long time, but it's enough time lah for you to save up the amount of money, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Hopefully. Hopefully, I mean, it's not a long enough period to do an investment and get the, but
Step by step. I mean,
Step by
obviously, yeah, you can't prepare for everything, right? You just have to take things as it goes. I mean, with finances, it's like that. Not just with your kid, with just everything in general, right? You can't get to the end right now. Right? It's step by step.
True. I think we need to put in like touch points where we plan out things like, okay, from point A to point B, we need this, and then from when we reach point B, then we will plan out the next stage. For now, we are planning for the baby's arrival.
Yep. Okay.
Once the baby's here, we will prepare for the next step, the baby growing up, the education.
The additional monthly cost, right?
Yeah.
So have you done any research on, okay, once the baby is born, up till they're, I don't know, 18, for as long as you're responsible for them, like monthly costs and stuff, do you guys have this factored into your budgets?
Honestly, not yet, because again, I've been chatting with my good friend at work.
Okay. This good friend is really knowledgeable.
He is, and expenses actually grow as your kid grows up.
Okay.
And another mutual friend of us, we had a chat, and then she is setting aside a fund for her kids in case the kid wants to like study abroad.
Okay.
So she started saving now, and then she wants to give that huge chunk of amount when the kid is ready to like either move abroad or like if the kid wants to start a business. So that's the idea's in my head right now.
Yeah.
And we also need to look into the factors if I'm not there.
Yeah.
So
what happens? Yeah.
what happens to the kid? We need to do that investment as well, because we need to think ahead. And of course, education options, like, are we gonna go to a government school,
Exactly.
or are we gonna go for a private school?
Yep.
If we do decide private, is it really worth it, and can we afford it?
Exactly. It's super expensive. Okay, so I don't have kids, but I have a lot of colleagues who have kids, and this is the exact thing that they think about. Do I send to private from 6, 7 years old, right? And then if you decide that, it's all the way till you're 17, and then there's university and stuff.
So
It's a lot of choices, right?
yeah, but again, like it comes back to our financial stability. I think in my case, my decision would be, if I had the money to spend,
Of course.
then I would consider it. If not, I think our education system is great.
Exactly. At least there is that backup option, right? With KKM for healthcare, with public schools, public universities, at least there are all these options, right?
Those are really good options that we should benefit from. Like the education system is good. It's just that it's an option that people can have, that if like they could afford it, they could. If they couldn't, they still have good options.
Yep. Okay. Going back to the investment part that you said your friend was saving up for your kids' education, for her kids' education, I mean. I think this is a really cool idea. So I read a lot about these things online as well, and it's something that I want to do. So you know that if you when you have a kid, right? And if you save up just 200 ringgit a month, so if you just do 200 ringgit a month from the first day that your kid is born, all the way till they're 18, and you invest this money. So I think 18 years is a long enough time frame where you can put it into the stock market, for example. And let's say you can get 6% return, which is quite a good amount.
Yeah,
right?
that would probably cover most of the. I mean, if they study the local university, it would cover most of the expense.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I was thinking for me, if I have a kid, right? So I would save up all this money. When you're 18 years old, I tell them, hey, if you get a scholarship, this cash is yours to start out your life, buy a car, whatever it is. If you don't get a scholarship, then sorry, this will go to your education and you'll have to start from scratch. That to me sounds like a really good idea where, you know, you start saving for your kid, you almost open their own investment account and just start putting money in.
Oh yeah, but I'm planning something similar. Like
Okay.
I've heard of this plan called SSPN account.
Yeah, SSPN.
Yes, SSPN.
Super good. Okay, on that, let's just quickly, tax relief, right, for having a kid. Are you aware of all the tax reliefs?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Because I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to this, so I don't have kids, but I still just think about what I could save if I had kids. So I think having a kid, you can save 2,000 ringgit tax relief, I think. And then there's breastfeeding equipment, childcare, and all this. And SSPN, since you brought it up, I honestly think SSPN is amazing if you have a kid.
Yeah.
Because 8,000 ringgit a year you put in, you get tax relief, and that money is earning you interest anyway. And I think the best part is you can just take it out if you really need.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had chat with them, and I assume that it's gonna be really hard to take it out. Like you need to go in person, fill out a form and thing. But apparently no, you can just take it out from your app.
Exactly.
You just transfer it to another account and just.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are other tax reliefs for things like, let's say, EPF, right?
Yeah.
But the difference, if you put it into EPF now, if my kid really needs something, I can't take it out, right? Whereas with SSPN, that's why I think SSPM is amazing. Good that you already thought about it. I think as soon as you have a kid, just
so as I have
8,000 ringgit there.
So I have the birth certificate with me, open an account.
Yeah. Okay. So I think general expenses for your baby when they're just born. How much have you figured out it's gonna cost you a month?
I'm assuming it's gonna cost me like maybe around like 1,000 ringgit.
1,000 ringgit.
This is just a really extreme estimation. Like I'm going above
and beyond. Only the best.
I'm just saying like this might be it, but I'm hoping it's not that much. We do factor in the diapers, the formula, the formula, the creams.
Yep. How about daycare though? Since you said both you and your wife are working, right?
Yeah. So I mean daycare is expensive.
So you're planning on paying for it?
At the moment, I'm not planning on daycare.
Okay.
I'm hoping that one of the grandparents would.
Exactly. That's a money saving hack, right? Get your parents to take care of your kid. I mean, you can't take it for granted, but it's definitely one of the ways that you can save when you have a kid, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Honestly, I think in some parts of the world, okay, maybe not KL lah, but daycare costs have gotten so high that if the wife's salary or the husband's salary doesn't match it, they may as well just quit their job and take on the role as
I mean, it makes sense. Rather than you paying more.
Exactly. But I guess in Malaysia, okay, we're not there yet, since you said you have found some option 700 ringgit, right? Any other major costs that you figured out monthly?
I think the insurance for the kid.
Are you planning on getting insurance for your kid?
We're planning to get it before the baby arrives, actually.
Okay, and this is medical insurance for your kid, right?
We are planning like medical plus investment.
Okay, yeah. I think most people will go for those options now.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because I think if you just go for medical, the rate is quite flexible, so you might go up and down. When it plus in with investment, you have a fixed rate there.
Exactly, yeah. And I guess also on insurance, now that you have a kid, you have someone who is dependent on you, then you would need life insurance, right? Is it something they already had, or is it something that, now I have to add this on?
We already have insurance.
Okay, life insurance, just to make sure if anything happens, your kid would be fine.
So my insurance agent did explain to me the benefits of dying.
Okay, yeah. I think one thing that, I don't know if you considered this as well, but one thing that you need to also look at, once people have kids, right, they start having to think about wills. So wealth transfer, they call this, right? So if anything were to happen to you, just make sure that, EPF nominee is to your kid, you have all your other assets like in line with your kid. And then if let's say touch wood, in the worst case scenario, right, something happens to both you and your wife, you need to appoint a guardian that will take care of your kid and these assets until they're 18 years old.
All right, I'll be honest, I've never thought about this.
Yeah, I know. Okay, it's okay. I think let your wife deliver a baby first, and then you, like I said, step by step. Sorry for overwhelming you.
Oh, I mean, it's good to be prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Exactly.
you do want the kid to be comfortable with or without you being there.
Exactly. Okay. So I guess to wrap it all up, having a kid, of course, is a blessing. Some people are prepared for it. Everything is really good to go before they actually get the baby, which is perfect. Some people like yourself, it's unplanned. But at least, like you said, you're in a good scenario. But I guess if anyone is out there who is planning on having a baby, I guess you've listed down all the expenses that they can think of, all the things about the future, 18 years down the line. So it can be, I guess, just to sum up what you've told me so far, it can be expensive. It can be a financial burden. Kids are not cheap, that's for sure. But I think with the right planning, with the right sacrifices, it is something that you can manage comfortably, right? All right, so 3 key takeaways from this episode. I guess number 1, do your research. You did a lot of research to make sure you know all of the costs, you're prepared for it. Number 2 is you need to be prepared for it. You've done the research, make sure you save up, make sure you've budgeted, everything is good to go before your kids even here.
True.
And then number 3, like Thinesh said, there are options. There are options from very, very expensive 50K just to give birth all the way to 5 ringgit delivery, right? So there are options. You can just play within that range. I know everyone wants to have the best for the kids, like Thinesh said, but you need to be realistic, you need to be responsible and plan for the future.
True.
Right? So thank you so much, Thinesh. That's the end of this episode of The Money Goal. See you guys in the next one.